Okay, so this is an example of how to evaluate the model that we just trained. And so what I have here is a data set that I held out from the very beginning. It hasn't seen any training, hasn't been trained on in any way. And what we're going to do to prepare it to insert and use for prediction is we're going to transform it using the previous method that we saw before, calling a transform job and filling it with the parameters from the transform job that is used to generate the model. So that's just pre-processing that held out data set. And what we're going to do next is then generate new predictions on that new model using a batch transform. And so with a new model, you can use a batch transform job, you can set up an endpoint, you can do elastic inference. A batch transform job is easier and kind of fits this purpose a little bit better. It will spin up the instances and then um, run, execute and run the predictions, and then when it's done, it'll shut off automatically. And so we don't need to worry about deleting an endpoint or something like that. And so what I'm doing here is I'm taking the training job and I'm just using it to create a new model here. Again, pulling parameters where necessary from the training job configs defined in this dictionary. And then once we have a new model, and so this is this new model object, so it's it's like a SageMaker model, we can use it to create a transformer. And this transformer will allow you to do batch transform using the Python SDK. And so this attaching this kind of new model variable to a transformer. And so here we're inputting things like the instance that we want to use for this transform job, where we want the output and the predictions to go, and then we can kind of finally call transform on the data that we're interested in. And so, yeah, what we can then do is copy in the predictions from S3, and we can read it in here. And so I just kind of copied it in from the command line to bring it in locally. And predictions, are called in here. And so this is just like the first 5 predictions from the set. And then I've also called in the actual predictions from the actual held out data set. So that's here. And then, we can run something like calculating the root mean squared error. And so feeding it in the actual data set, the actual predictions, the actual, target values, and then comparing it against the predictions and using it to generate a metric like the root mean squared error. And so, the idea here being you can compare this to the previous model that you had and seeing if the improvement is worthwhile or significant enough for you to, uh, gradually potentially roll out this new model.